Information shared on the following program is for general information purposes only. It does not constitute legal, tax, investment, or other advice, nor is it intended to recommend any particular investments, products, or financial instruments. Always seek advice from your financial advisor, attorney, or accountant with regard to investment, legal, or tax questions.
Want to know what this book by Joseph Campbell and this book by Tony Walker have in common? They both involve heroes.
Welcome to the only show in the country dedicated to helping savers worry less about money, the Worry-Free Retirement, with your host, best-selling author and fiduciary, Tony Walker.
For most of our existence, human beings have been storytellers. Whether it's myths, legends, fables, superstitions, or scripture, storytelling is a unique gift that allows us to pass on lessons and connect on a deeper level. American literary professor Joseph Campbell studied thousands of these stories from around the world and throughout history, and he noticed that despite their many differences, they all tend to follow a similar structure. He called this structure the monomyth, or otherwise known as the hero's journey. You see, the hero's journey is a universal human experience of grand adventure, devastating loss, spiritual rebirth, and ultimately treasure beyond all imagination. Speaking of stories, some 25 years ago, I began a journey to grow my practice by investing my clients' money in the stock market. Those were exciting times as I watched my clients' money grow. In fact, things were going so great back in the 90s that my clients were referring to me as a hero for the way their accounts were skyrocketing. Everyone was happy and certainly content. That is, until two separate planes flew into two separate buildings, that fateful day we now refer to simply as 9/11. You see, not only did the tragic events of 9/11 shatter the hopes and dreams of my clients, but it also shattered my confidence in my own ability to help my clients be worry-free about their retirement. As an advisor, I found myself questioning my abilities and what to do next. This was a really scary place, a crossroads in my journey, and quite frankly, I didn't know what to do. It's what Joseph Campbell in his book refers to as the innermost cave. It's the same innermost cave that Dorothy experienced in The Wizard of Oz when kidnapped by flying monkeys and her friends had to set her free. The same innermost cave Luke faced in the movie Star Wars when seeing the vision of Darth Vader. And yes, that same innermost cave that Scout must have felt when in the movie To Kill a Mockingbird, Tom is found guilty and Scout's father is a target for defending him. It's the same story told time and time again, yet with different characters. But there is a common thread amongst all of these heroes, and that is the role of also a mentor or a guide that comes into their lives to help them and encourage them to continue on. So, what does all of this inner cave stuff and mentors have to do with savers and their journey in life to create a worry-free retirement? Well, that's what I'm about to share with you today on the Worry-Free Retirement. Well, welcome folks to the Worry-Free Retirement, and yes, I am that little man in the sweater vest, financial mentor and fiduciary, Tony Walker, and today I'm going to share with you the story of a hero, not just any hero, and one you probably have never heard of, a financial hero, or shall I say heroes, and how we at Tony Walker Financial can guide them to a worry-free retirement. But first, let me introduce two of my personal heroes right here in the studio today. Our producer, Mr. Aaron Orander, along with his sidekick at the technical helm, Mr. Derek Hudson. Okay, let me set the stage again one more time. The tragic events of 9/11 had just occurred. I realized that having all of my clients' money in the unpredictable world of the stock market had been a huge mistake. So what was I to do next? How was I going to create a process of helping all these savers worry less about money? Well, just like Luke Skywalker, just like Dorothy, and just like Scout in To Kill a Mockingbird, I needed a mentor to help clarify my vision of what it was I was going to do and how best to help others worry less about money. And that's where this book, Perfecting Your Walk, comes from. So stay tuned. When I return, I'm going to share with you one of the most important things you need to know about retirement, and what will surprise you is that in the end, it has very little to do with how much money you have. Stay tuned. I'm Tony Walker. I'll be right back. Have you recently retired, been laid off, or offered a pension buyout? Has the company you work for moved, been acquired, or closed its doors forever? And finally, do you have a 401k with a previous employer you'd like to move to safer territory? Then take advantage of this opportunity to move your 401k or lump sum pension to Tony Walker Financial. Let's meet in person to discuss your retirement options. Log on now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com to schedule your free, no obligation appointment. Let us help you today.
And now, back to the WorryFree Retirement with your host, Tony Walker.
Well, I have to admit, our live well, die broke moment today is actually, that's right, yours truly. Armed with a face mask, and yes, that is a deviled egg dish for those of you who don't know much about deviled eggs. My wife wanted to go to the local antique mall to get some rolling pins. I don't know why we couldn't have bought those somewhere else. So I was going to tag along with her, and here I am getting all excited about this antique dish, beautiful deviled egg dish. You see, I'm known around the household and around the holidays as being able to whip up a mean deviled egg. Normally, I do not share personal recipes with anybody, but today, here we go. Here's Tony Walker's. I call it my devilish deviled eggs. All right, real quick, 12 large eggs, hard-boiled at least 12 minutes. Cut the eggs in half. Carefully scoop out the cooked yolk, mix in a bowl, add 1 cup of Hellmann's. Do not use any other type of mayonnaise. It's only Hellmann's, folks. 1 tablespoon mustard, 1 teaspoon Tabasco sauce, 1 teaspoon sugar, 1 teaspoon salt, half teaspoon of pepper, 1 teaspoon white vinegar. Keep going, Derek. Oh, here we go. Mix it all with a fork. That's cheating to use a blender, folks. Fork, okay? Mix well, spoon out carefully into the egg halves. Lightly sprinkle the top of the finished eggs with cayenne pepper, and this is the coup de grace. Garnish each egg with a sliver, just a sliver, mind you, of a sweet pickle just for giggles. All right, hope that helps. Trying to have a little fun here today, but you know, we're talking about the financial hero. And you know, one of my greatest financial heroes that I was most influenced by was my grandfather, Bill Hardin. In fact, here's a shot of him at Bell South. This was a fellow that went to work in 1932 with the phone company, worked there until 1978. And what I admired about this man looking back is he worked hard, kept his nose clean, never complained, retired with his beloved mailbox money, and just kind of rode that horse into the sunset. Well, you know, there's hundreds of heroes we could name, those who have sacrificed all their lives for the needs of others. In fact, what I wanted to do is just kind of cover some of what I call the financial hero attributes. These are things like my grandfather, other relatives, a lot of people we can think of, but mainly the thousands of saver clients that I've learned about as they've shared their personal life story and journey with me. Look at some of these attributes. There's many, but most savers that I've encountered are very caring people. They care for other people. They're doing their world's work, not only for themselves, but for others. A lot of them are very daring people. You know, a lot of my saver clients work in professions, quite frankly, that are very difficult professions, but they're going to put it on the line in order to get the job done. They're very disciplined. Most of these folks will work very hard. They're on time for work. They're willing to work overtime. Whatever it takes, these folks are going to do. Now, this can actually be a problem. Most savers are very trusting. They are trustworthy people, and they assume since they're trustworthy, everybody else is too. But there's a problem, because nowadays, with over 10,000 people retiring each and every day at age 65, there's a lot of people out there after these savers' money, and because they're so trusting, sometimes they get taken advantage of. They've got great character, great values. They use common sense. Now, this is what I love about my clients. When we meet, the way we lay out things in our game plan, I know how to lay it out in such a way as to where these savers understand things. You see, most savers really don't understand a lot about money. And the financial world, I think, intentionally complicates things so that the financial world can control these savers' lives and their money. We don't work that way. We've found that if the saver understands their money, they can use their own common sense to enjoy the money and do the things they want to do. Remember, I'm just there to guide and mentor them. It's their money, not mine. I like this, humble. You know, in my latest book, Live Well, Die Broke, one of the reasons I talk so much about my beginnings is because I came from very humble beginnings. And while, yes, some might say I've been very successful in my work, it didn't come easy. So I very much appreciate those who come from humble means, because when they finally arrive at their destination, they're usually much more thankful people. A couple more we could go on. The last one, I guess this is the one I wanted to emphasize. Savers know the value of $1. Now, why is this so important in retirement planning? And what does this have to do with the stock market and some of the aversion savers have to the stock market? Well, let's think about the stock market for a second. What really is the stock market? Well, it is a world that most savers don't understand, and there is a lot of risk and uncertainty. Now, with the stock market also, there's a lot of times when you can just make boatloads of money for really not doing anything. Think about that. You throw your money at a stock, the thing goes up, and it can also go down. But see, I think savers look at that and say, wait a minute, that's not money I've earned. You see, savers want to work hard and earn their money, which means they understand the value of $1 because most of those dollars have come by hard work. So this is tough. So what is the true, I guess you could say, innermost cave of these hardworking savers? Well, it's retirement. You see, all of a sudden, this saver has got to take his or her life's savings, retire, and turn it into an income that they can never outlive, an income that has got to last as long as they do. They don't understand anything about taxes and fees, and what happens is they don't know who to talk to. So therein lies the problem. Who are they going to trust? Well, this sounds like you. If you seem to have the attributes of a saver and you're just wanting to work hard and enjoy your money while you still can, let me invite you to contact us at Tony Walker Financial. For over 36 years, I've literally met in person with over 15,000 savers. And when you contact Tony Walker Financial, you're going to be talking to the owner of the company. This is all I do for a living, is talk to savers, and I have a great team of service experts that are there to service the sale long into your retirement. So give us an opportunity to talk. There's no cost or obligation. Why don't you log on right now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com, click on the Let's Get Started button, or of course you can call the toll-free number on your screen, and we'll be happy to see how we can help you enjoy your money. Well, I'm going to do something I haven't done in a long time. I'm actually going to use an actual client's information. Don't worry, it's been changed to protect the innocent. And it's a very interesting story, a journey I've been on for years with this particular client. And now that she's roughly 73 years of age, she came to me and wanted to figure out how to, well, I'm not going to let the story out yet. You're going to have to stay tuned. Let me get a cup of coffee and get the whiteboard out. I'll be right back. Some good stuff coming up.
So we were wrapping up an episode the other day, and Tony calls me over for something. I was diligently at work, but I pop up and I dash over there to see what's going on, and he asked me for a cup of coffee. I asked him if the store brand would be all right, and he said, no, only the Starbucks will do. There's a nicer way of saying that, but admittedly in the past, he has said if I drank cheap coffee, I'd die. I only asked because that morning I unfortunately had the last Starbucks. All we had left was tea, decaf, and the cheap stuff. So I thought I'd do some digging and see if we had any extra laying around, but unfortunately we seem to be completely out. So I think about it and I just decide I'm gonna have to take the risk and hope he doesn't notice a difference. So I hand him his coffee and I watch intently for any reaction, and it seems like I'm in the clear. You know, sometimes working for Tony can be a bit of a challenge, but as long as you're a quick thinker, you can usually get by pretty well. I'd like to think that he and I... never mind.
Welcome back to the Worry-Free Retirement. I love this little plaque. It says, "The joy is in the journey." I keep this on my desk as kind of a reminder for myself. You know, we are talking about this journey of savers, and one of the most scariest things savers can feel like is that they're going it alone. I see it in all the emails I receive from viewers from this show, and here's one, for instance, I recently received. It was an email from a gentleman that is really nervous about the direction of our country and our economy. He wanted me to read a book, I won't name the book, by some self-proclaimed soothsayer, I guess, who feels like the crisis pending is going to lead to our ultimate doom. However, sounds like everything's going to be fine if we'll just buy his book and invest in the things that will help in this coming collapse he's predicting. And while I'm just as concerned about the insurmountable debt we have piled up in this country, the worst thing you can do if you're a saver is get scared and overreact to situations like this. Kind of reminds me of Rahm Emanuel, who once pointed this out when he said, "You never let a serious crisis go to waste." I think what he was saying is this: when times get bleak, when you feel like you're in your innermost cave, watch out, because that's when the shysters and con men can come crawling out of the woodwork, preying on the fears of others and trying to get your money. Worst of all, those selling even annuities and promising unrealistic returns right now of 6, 7, 8% concerns me, because many savers are falling into this trap. You know, my response in these dire and uncertain times, it's all the more reason you need a guide, someone who can equip you to first know who you are and where it is you're trying to go, to create some sort of financial peace in this journey. You will need not only an experienced financial guide, but you'll also need a written game plan, a simple and easy to understand roadmap like the ones we provide our clients at Tony Walker Financial. This is why we call this the worry-free retirement process, and it is unlike anything out there. I should know, I created it, and it's only available through Tony Walker Financial. Okay, so how do we figure all of this out for our clients? How do we take a client on this journey, and then all of a sudden, which we have happen all the time, these clients come to us with that stage in life. Sometimes maybe it's even that innermost cave when they say, "Okay, Tony, I'm trying to follow this live well, die broke philosophy. How can I use and enjoy my money now before it's too late?" Well, let's step over to the whiteboard, and I'm actually going to share a case with you. This is a case study of one of our clients. Now again, we've kind of changed the names to protect the innocent, but I have hundreds of people who throughout the year will come into situations similar to this. Now this happened to be one of our clients, I call it the Saver's Journey, a 73-year-old widow. Now years ago, here's what happened. Her spouse passed away. They had saved a lot of money. Let's kind of put the assets. We'll name the assets. We had Social Security, I'll call it his and hers. They had savings, and then when they came to me, they also had a couple of IRA accounts, individual retirement accounts, okay? So when the spouse passed away, let's say his Social Security was $2,000, hers was $1,000, she lost her Social Security, okay? Keep that in mind. A lot of people don't know this. When one spouse passes, usually the smaller amounts of those Social Security will drop off, which means income drops off. So this, I remember when we were working with them, made her very nervous. I said, that's okay. At the time, she had about $200,000 in savings. Her home was paid for, had about $300,000 in an IRA, okay? And she's like, "Tony, how am I going to live? I just lost $1,000. Well, over the years, this was years ago, now she's 73, she comes in. It's funny, over the years, her savings is still around $200,000. We put her in what's called the split IRA, okay? And those have been doing fine. And what she's found as she's gotten older, and this is what we preach all the time, folks, she's spending less and less money. Again, her house is paid for. She's living on her Social Security. She takes a little bit of bank interest. We've sent a little bit of money from time to time out of our Charles Schwab platform, totally flexible. But on the back end, this is what's really cool. I've got to share this with you. We had an annuity with an income rider. Now these income riders are paying 5, 6, 7%, but folks, don't be fooled by that. An income rider is there to create mailbox money. If you don't use that income rider when you die, nobody gets any of that money. So a lot of these annuities are being sold like it's a 6 or 7% yield. Those don't exist. When somebody's pitching a 6 or 7 or 8% yield, they're talking about mailbox money, which is what she had. So what we did, she came to me and I said, okay, where are we now? What do you want to do? What can I help you with? And she says, I want to start giving some money away, not to my kids, but to my grandkids. And she goes, how can I do that? And I said, that's really easy. So what we did is we turned on the income rider, okay? So now this young lady is going to get $20,000 a year from this particular annuity. Obviously, it depends on the amount in there. $20,000 a year for the rest of her life, guaranteed. Now let me repeat that. Guaranteed. It's not in the stock market. If she lives to age 100, it doesn't matter. She's going to get $20,000 a year. And she said, but Tony, I don't need it. And I said, but you got to take it anyway under the IRA rules. Why don't we take it now? We'll pay it over here. You pay taxes. She's only in a 10% bracket right now. Taxes are nothing for her. And what we're going to do is each year we'll gift that money to each grandchild. And she says, well, that's a wonderful idea. So she's still got her savings. She's got her mailbox money. We still got some Charles Schwab if she has an emergency. But more importantly, she's getting to watch her grandchildren enjoy this money while she's still alive to watch them. I think this is just a wonderful thing. So a lot of you might be sitting there saying, well, Tony, my advisor never talks about stuff like this. They just scare me to death and think I ought to have more and more money. Well, if that's you, if you're tired of that same old dog and pony show and you want a game plan to use and enjoy this money before it's too late, we need to talk. Right now, why don't you log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Let's set up a free appointment. You would be meeting with the owner of the company, either by phone or in person. Again, it's TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Click on that Let's Get Started button or just simply call the toll-free number on your screen. Well, what does the Bible have to say about storytelling? And is there anybody in the Bible that maybe was not listening to God and went his own way? Well, this is a great story coming up. Let me get me a cup of coffee. You're going to love this one. I'll be right back. Whether you're a long-time viewer of the Worry-Free Retirement or just catching it for the first time, know this: you can watch past episodes and educational clips by visiting our YouTube channel. Just log on to youtube.com and search Tony Walker Financial. Who can you trust? It's one of the most important decisions you'll have to make. Question is, are you ready? Well, we're here to help at Tony Walker Financial. You know, we care more about you than we do your money, and we have over 2,000 happy clients and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau to prove it. Rolling over a 401k, confused about Social Security, maybe you're afraid of running out of money. Learn how to use and enjoy and protect your hard-earned money. Log on now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com and let's get started. For the past 36 years, I've made it my life's mission to help savers better manage their 401k plans with our split IRA concept. This concept, which utilizes investments through Charles Schwab on the front end and mailbox money on the back end, allows our savers to confidently use and enjoy their money without the fear of running out. To see if you're eligible to turn your 401k into the split IRA concept, visit us at TonyWalkerFinancial.com or call the toll-free number on your screen. Think entering the innermost cave of retirement is scary. Imagine if you were this guy, a prophet in the Bible named Jonah. The story of Jonah goes something like this. God had chosen Jonah for a very clear and very simple mission. Travel to the city of Nineveh and tell the people to get their act together or else. But for some reason, we assume out of fear, Jonah flees the other direction and heads of all places, not to Nineveh, but to a place called Tarshish. To get to where he's going, which is nowhere, he hitches a ride on a boat with strangers and quickly puts them in danger as the oceans begin to toss them about. You see, God knows where Jonah is off to, and he's not happy. Well, to make a long story short, the sailors figure out that Jonah is the cause of God's anger, and in order to save themselves, toss old Jonah overboard. Lucky for Jonah, a huge whale comes along and swallows him up.
Swallow you whole.
Stuck inside his innermost cave, the belly of this whale, that is, Jonah does what most would do under such a dire circumstance. He prays. And what does he pray for? Well, he prays for guidance, he prays for deliverance, and prays for a second chance, which in chapter 2, verse 10, God provides. The result? Jonah turns around, and heads back to Nineveh, where he tells the people to repent of their evil ways, and much to his surprise, they do, and God saves them as well. But the story's not over. A funny thing happens. Instead of rejoicing in the salvation of Nineveh, Jonah is mad at God and gets depressed. Apparently, the journey for Jonah was a lot more rewarding than his arrival at the destination. We see this in chapter 4, verse 3. He gets so down on himself in life that he actually wants to die. Such a strange reaction, don't you think? You know what I think? I think it's the same thing we've been talking about on this whole show today. Sometimes the journey, yes, the journey, even you working hard, saving hard all of your life, taking care of everybody, and then on some magical day retiring, sometimes the joy is found in the journey and not so much in the destination. Like Jonah, we finally get to where we are supposed to go, our mission to retire. We get it accomplished, and instead of finding joy, sometimes we find depression. Maybe that's you right now. Maybe you are retired. Maybe you have plenty of money, maybe even a great family. Maybe you just received an inheritance from a parent who recently passed away. And even though you feel like you've got all you need, something doesn't quite feel right. Well, my suggestion is go back to the source of your true joy. Do what Jonah did when he was down and out, his innermost cave, and pray. Ask God to remind you of the ultimate destination He has in store for those who call Him Father. A destination that is unlike anything this world has to offer. Set your mind and your affections on that destination, and I can assure you, you'll start worrying less about money and enjoying the things of this journey. Well, how about you? Are you at a point in life where you feel like you need a guide to help you with your money, your journey, what to do with it now before it's too late? Maybe you're in your own personal innermost cave as well. You're retired, thinking of retiring. Maybe you feel like you don't know what to do with your money or where to invest it, or worse yet, who to trust with it. Well, might I suggest we talk? You know, for more than 36 years, I've guided thousands of savers along the way to a worry-free retirement. And I'd like to have the chance to interview with you, find out about your situation to see if I might be your financial guide, a mentor, if you will, to share my experience with the world and money with you. Let's think about talking, and this is very easy to do, and it's absolutely free. To get started, all you need to do is log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com, that's TonyWalkerFinancial.com, and click on the Let's Get Started button. That information will be sent confidentially to our offices, and we will immediately reach out to you where we can have a phone call, or if it warrants, I'll be happy to meet with you in person at either our Bowling Green, Lexington, or Louisville, Kentucky offices. Do it now. Log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com or call the toll-free number on your screen. Well, next week we've got a very interesting show lined up. You may have heard of this concept of speed dating. Well, guess what? It also applies to the financial world. We'll look forward to bringing that information, but you remember, between now and then, if all else fails, you be worry-free. Make it a good one.